Okay guys, so we got a recurring problem. See that Nepal Kalij hen right there? Well, she's got a problem with her beak. I've trimmed it before, but it grew back. Yeah, she be looking like Gonzo again. All right, let's do it again. Another bonus video just for you guys. And I hope these tips right here will help you guys in any of your agricultural projects. All right, now let's get started. What I have here is a towel that we're gonna wrap up the hen with because I'm working by myself today and I'm working with just a little bit of time. So we're gonna try to make this efficient and quick as possible. Okay, so you have the dogs with me right here. Anyhow, when you're working by yourself, and you have to tend to a bird, it's better to get yourself a towel. Got the sold towel right here. That way you can wrap them up. It constricts them so that way they can't fuss or fight you too much. Okay, so we got that. Now, here's the thing, guys. I recommend getting nail clippers, the professional pet nail clippers. You can use those for the beak as well. Well, I don't have those. Oh, I do, but they're lost. Okay, so I'm going to trust in these scissors right here. Now, these are very sharp. Very good scissors. So these are a close runner-up to those nail clippers, all right? So we're gonna get this hen and trim her beak up. I also got some sandpaper right here. We're gonna file it down because if you ever cut your fingernails, you know, and you don't file them, and how they're all like the tough edge and they just kind of irritate you a little bit, you know, but if you file them down, I guess, less irritating. Anyhow. Hi, Gus. I love you too, Gus. I do, I really do, I love you. Okay, Gus, I'm trying to make a video. Now, what's really good about those nail clippers for pets is that they make a nice clean cut, okay? Because you don't want to pull on the outer shell, like when you're doing a spur, you don't want to pull on that too much. And you definitely don't want to hit the quick. The quick is the alive part inside of the beak itself, as in the spur as well, even your fingernails. You know, the quick is the one that's alive and full of blood vessels. You don't want to hit that because it'll cause a lot of bleeding. Just like when you trim your dog's nails, if you cut back too short, it'll start to bleed. And I've done it before. I've done it with Gus here. I trimmed his back nail one time and it started spurting out blood. I cut it too short. So it's better to have a little bit of overhang than too short, you know. Sorry about that, Gus. But we have long forgotten about that. All right, so let's catch her up and we'll tend to her. I'll show you guys how I do it. First things first, I'll lay out this towel. And I'm just gonna put her in here, roll her up like a burrito. Okay, before I wrap her up, let me give you guys a closer look at her beak. See her beak, how it's abnormal? Now I trimmed it up before, but it has grown back pretty quick. Now, naturally, the bird's beaks are like your fingernails. They're always growing, but they naturally trim them down as fast as they can grow, you know, just foraging, you know, sharpening on rocks or something. And yeah, they just naturally wear it down. But this girl right here has a problem with her beak growing a little bit too fast. Kind of like me and my fingernails. My fingernails grow really, really fast. But anyways, for her condition though, come on little mamas. For her condition right here, now this could have happened during incubation, or it got it got deformed during her time in the brooder when she was a chick or something. Who knows what happened? But sometimes they develop this condition right here where they can't wear it down naturally. Okay, now you got to stay on top of this and file it down, because what happens is if the top one is deformed and you think the bottom one's okay, the bottom one in time will grow abnormally as well. And then if they're both not in sync with growing, they can start to develop like scissor beak, you know, when they're like crossed. So you want to like trim it down as much as you can. Now I know, because I've done trimmed her before, that she will have this problem again, and I will have to take care of it again. Now I know by dealing with her, we're gonna have this problem again. So we got to catch her up, you know, keep her trimmed up. I let her grow a little bit too long this time, but we'll be on it more. Okay, little mama? But yeah, we gotta keep her trimmed up. She's gonna have this problem probably forever, but we'll trim it up better this time, okay? Now, you don't wanna hit the quick. What I was saying, the quick is deeper into the beak or in like a nail where there's live growth there in blood vessels and nerves and stuff like that. If you cut back too much, she'll bleed. The bleeding eventually will stop, but it can happen that they can bleed out, you know, if you cut it back too far. But just do your best and don't cut the quick, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our sharp scissors, trim her up, and then I got the sandpaper, and we're gonna file it and make it look as natural as possible, okay guys? Now, let's wrap her up. Now this, like I said, if you're working by yourself, this helps you control her. It'll be like your second person helping out, you know? Just wrap her up. Okay. And now we have access to her beak without her wings or legs being functional. Okay. Now, just to make sure that these scissors are sharp enough, I'm going to cut off just the tip of her beak where I know it ain't going to hurt her whatsoever. Just be uncomfortable, but yeah, pretty sharp. I'll cut back a little bit more. Now, I'd be more confident, of course, with nail clippers, but I can do it with this as well. Okay, you want it to look as natural as possible. Okay, yeah, these scissors are pretty sharp. Okay, so it's not actually curving. Her beak doesn't have that natural curve to it anymore, but we'll try to sand it as much as possible. Sorry, mamas. We're gonna make it to where you can eat and drink better, okay? A little at a time, so she feels comfortable. And you want to look at the bottom to see if they're lining up okay. I can already tell her bottom beak is growing kind of awkwardly because of the condition of her upper beak. Actually, I don't think I could do this with the nail clippers, the proper nail clippers, you know, get that precise cutting. Yeah. One thing too, if you cut down to where far enough to where she bleeds, and she's bleeding all over the place, you can't sand down as much because then you got the blood in the way, and then you're just smearing blood everywhere, and it's just a mess. I'm gonna say she's okay with that, but now I'm gonna get the sandpaper. We're gonna file it down a little bit. Okay, so naturally these Nepal Kalij, pretty high strung species, you know, they'd be flipping out. But I got her so constricted with this towel that she has rendered herself immobile. So it really does help when you're working with her. So I'm gonna take her beak like this. You can use some like 180 grit sandpaper. Any kind of sandpaper will work. Make it smooth. And I want to round it off into the shape of her natural beak, or how a beak should be. You know, it'll make her feel more comfortable. And I'm trying to sand down to make it curve naturally. She might be uncomfortable, but she is in absolutely no pain. So I'm trying to guide it downward. You know, the beak. I mean, you can sand it any way, but trying to go with the natural curve of a beak and go down as much as I can. And also, see, I have the male that's in there with her doesn't have this problem. So he's wearing down his beak naturally all by himself. No worries. But this hen will need extra help. So what I'm thinking is we'll put some like gravel in there or something, and put some mealworms in the gravel. Something like that. So she can naturally trim up her beak as possible. You know, some birds just need more help than others. But gosh, that is very smooth. very smooth, and we're gonna call it for now to our next visit. Okay, see, no bleeding. She is completely fine. Well, I think you're still beautiful no matter what. Okay, funky beak or not. Okay, all right, girl. We'll see you in a few months. Okay. Okay, we'll put her back in here with her guy. Now, it took me months for these guys to calm down around me. And sometimes we have to go in and mess with them again. It sets you back a little bit, but some more treats and stuff. They'll be fine. Here, there you go. There you go. Yeah, she looks really good right now compared to how she was. Thank you guys once again. I hope you enjoyed this bonus video. It's something I had to get done and I wanted to share it with you guys. So yeah, just remember your bird's beak, if you trim it up, it's not that much of a problem. Some birds go throughout their whole lives, you know, as long as you trim it up without it affecting them at all. But you do got to stay on top of it because, like I said, they're like fingernails. They're composed of keratin, you know, so they'll keep growing. But naturally, with most birds, it trims down by itself. It's not a problem. But if you have to interfere, you know, trim it up, make it look nice, and then put some like gravel or some bricks or something in there where they can peck on, you know, or eat their food or dig or something like that. Help them trim it down naturally. Help them as much as they can. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you guys did, please give it a like and share with your friends and family. And yeah, once again, your bonus video. This has been a Split and Tricks Pheasantry. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments below. All right, you guys, I'm out. Peace.